But I've already eaten some, okay. Well, okay,
Gotcha,
technically...
bitch! Game over, yeah!
A Twitter? Sorry, twatter. Did I even have a twatter? Oi, you twat. I'm a Twitter your twatter. What? I'm a twatter your Twitter. The many quotes of Game Busters J. Ho! Ho! Grenades, okay. Is that a hammer? What the hell? I got juggled by bombs. Gotta speed up.
Sonic, hit Dark Gaia's weak spot, quick, while I hold him back.
I don't have my soundboard on. Oh. Oh. Tifa! Just do it. What? No, he teleported. No, why did you teleport? No. Oh, no. No, I don't die. I thought I was dying before. Oh my god. Bro. Oh my god. Holy shit. It might have been like the longest one because I have descended to hell. The void is claiming me. It's Kirby. Oh no, he's eating Batman. Fuck. What? Bruh, I look. What? No. Oh.
Psych!
Barbecue rib burger. Oh. Oh, that does sound quite nice, actually. But I've already eaten some, okay. Well, okay,
Gotcha,
technically...
bitch! Game over, yeah!
A Twitter? Sorry, twatter. Did I even have a twatter? Oi, you twat. I'm a Twitter your twatter. What? I'm a twatter your Twitter. The many quotes of Game Busters J. Ho! Ho! Grenades, okay. Is that a hammer? What the hell? I got juggled by bombs. Gotta speed up.
Sonic, hit Dark Gaia's weak spot, quick, while I hold him back.
I don't have my soundboard on. Oh. Tifa! Just do it. What? No, he teleported. No, why did you teleport? No. Hey there. I've got a bit of a and I guess it's sort of an impromptu stream. The last stream of the year, where I just kind of want to talk. I wanted to talk about things in regards to just I guess my internet presence and things going forward. I was gonna do a video on it, but then I thought, well, I would have to probably do a video on my main channel, which I'm in a. We'll get into it, but I'm in a situation where I'm like, I'm trying to make that work, and if I just drop a quote unquote like update video that most people really don't care about, and I don't blame people, I really don't. I'm probably like the same way in a lot of times, right? Where creators know this, right? But you know, I thought if I do that, that's probably going to hurt my channel. No one's going to give a shit about it. The algorithm isn't going to push it out because no one's going to give a shit about it and respond to it. So YouTube's going to say that's a flop, that's a dead video, and that's gonna hurt my channel. And I'm like, I am trying my best to make things work on my main channel. I don't want to make things worse. I'm clearly not doing a very good job, but we'll get into it. So I figured it'd be better to just stream here where no one's gonna watch it anyway, and but it doesn't hurt my main channel. I might repurpose this into a video, maybe, we'll see, but it'll probably still be on this channel. But I figured this might be good for me to just kind of get some things off my chest, regardless of whether anybody watches it. It'd be good for me to maybe even look back at this one day and be like, okay, I'm glad I said this. I'm glad I just sort of brought it out for my own self, for future Jay, you know, whatever. That I just wanted to sort of chat and really talk about things. And I really don't like doing these sort of video stream stuff, really, because it kind of just feels like I'm going, woe is me, cry me a river, sympathize with me, like be, you know, give me a sympathy, which is not what I'm out here to do. I don't want people's sympathy, and that's not what I'm not here like, you know, oh my god, dry your eyes, mate. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to tell you that I probably should have been depressed like a million times by now or some shit. No one gives a shit. It's just true, all right? Because we don't want to hear negative stuff, because negative stuff brings us down, you know? And I'm trying not to be negative, you know? Because it doesn't help to be negative, but it's very easy to be negative. It's very easy to just get dragged down when shit hits the fan, when life really tests you and pushes you, and you think to yourself, the fuck am I even doing on this planet, man? What am I doing here? What's the point of life? You do think that. You know, but I'm doing what I can to not think like that, at least not as much. To think, well, okay, I can sit here feeling sorry for myself, or I can try and do something about it. And I'm doing what I can to do something about it. At least I'm just putting it out there. I'm not calling this some sort of New Year's resolution, because I don't care about that. But I'm just doing this as I feel like I need to almost cap myself off for my own sake. Like, this is just what it is, and it would be probably better for me to try and strive for a goal, because it kind of gives me a bit of a focus and a bit of a purpose, because I can get easily distracted with a lot of things and whatnot. So with this kind of intro, I suppose, I've actually got some notes to kind of help me actually articulate a little bit and help me get some proper thoughts out, like on paper, and just, you know, throw that towards you guys or future me or whatever, right? So I guess let's just start down the list. Also, I just want to say I apologize. I look fucking terrible. So I'm sorry. No amount of no amount of HD camera and lighting is going to make myself look better. I just look shit. So sorry about that. But I'm also not someone who's really like, I'm not the biggest guy when it comes to appearances. I usually have to kind of change my appearance for other people because, because they take a pride in their appearance and I don't really. I'm such a bit of a slob, I guess. I don't know. It's just that's how I am. I'm just not really too fussed about it, to be honest. I'm definitely the type of guy who's like, I'd rather pay money for games than buy new clothes. That I'm pretty bad at that sort of stuff, even to this day in my sad 30s. Anyway, so I guess I'll talk about the streams first, since I am streaming. So that's what I'll talk about, and then I'll talk a little bit about my other channel, the main channel that I upload videos to, not this one. So it's basically get it off the stream out. So in 2025, I was kind of at the beginning I was a little bit all over the place. I think my initial goal was that I was just going to I think it was 2025. I think it was 2024 because I streamed Rebirth, but like 2025, I think I was thinking it might be better for me to have the most casual approach when it comes to streaming. Second. We'll just do this, I guess. Stuff is in the way. Let me just do this. Okay. Yeah, so my approach was I'm just gonna treat streaming as casual as ever because I just wasn't enjoying it as much as I have been doing in the past. When I started to feel like I was somewhat forcing myself to do it, I was like, oh, streaming's becoming a chore. That's the problem. That's, I can't act my way through and pretend to give a shit when that's hard. I have done stuff like that before, and I've actually regretted doing that. I actually, fun little story time with Jay, for anyone who actually cares. But, and this is, I don't know if it stuck with me because I just feel a bit guilty about it all. I don't know, but it's just something that has stuck with me. It definitely made me go, I'm not doing that again. I'm trying my best to just be myself at the end of the day. Take me for what I am. If you don't like me, if you got a problem with me, that's your issue, man. I'm not out here trying to cause trouble or anything, man. I'm just like in my own corner, in my own space. I just want to enjoy my video games, nothing special about me. No conflict, please. No trouble, please. So yeah, little story time with Jay. This isn't very long, but there was a girl I was kind of interested in at some point in around school years. And I've never been a very confident guy, and I kind of relate to well, I'm sure some people have sort of might be able to relate to this. I don't know if anyone's watching this will relate to this, but if you're someone who's not very confident, then you probably have insecurities, right? And I had somewhat convinced myself that I was just kind of a nothing person. Girls not interested in me, especially in school. Like, if anything, I got kind of hated by a lot of girls. Don't ask. I don't know. It's in the past. It's just school. It's whatever, right? Things just didn't go on very well anyway. Apparently, being a quiet person is a crime. But yeah, things sort of changed a little bit when I went to like higher education school, but like it still dealt with a lot of immature people. I almost feel like I was a bit too mature, maybe. I don't know. Like I was one of the few people who was kind of mature at school. Later on, I wouldn't say immediately, but anyway, I'm getting off topic. Back to the story. There was a girl I liked, and I convinced myself. Sorry, still a little bit under the weather. Still a little bit under the weather. I apologize. It's this damn cough, man. Yeah, I thought to myself, if I be myself, she's not going to give a shit. I didn't know that, but you know, I was a teenager, and I just convinced myself that, you know, girls just aren't interested in me. And I had very low confidence, so there it was very unlikely that I was going to ever approach a girl that I liked. It just probably wasn't going to happen. Um, instead I ended up being kind of weird about it, I suppose. But I realized that sometimes I can put on an act, and that might come in handy depending on the situation. But it also made me realize that I don't really like doing it unless this is like a reason. Like, if it's one thing if you're acting for an actual, well, an act, you know, like a show or something, right? You're playing a role. That's one thing. You know, you know, whether it be acting, voice acting, whatever. That's one thing. You know, I like doing silly voices from time to time when I play video games and I read text and stuff. But I basically kind of pretended to be someone I wasn't, and I didn't really know what kind of response I would get. I didn't. But apparently, I mean, I guess I was kind of being a bit of a doofus, but like, it got laughs out of the girl I was sort of interested in. Didn't know anything about it, even talk to her, dude. This is me. Me going up to a girl I like to talk to her? Bro. I don't even think I could do that now. How old I am. But anyway, I acted differently to how I usually did, and that gave the wrong impression. You know, this girl didn't even know her name. Like I said, zero confidence to talk to people, but more so talk about someone, you know, talk to someone that you're interested in. This girl had a wrong impression of me, and that was my fault. I you know, acted the way I acted. And I didn't realize, but I guess I must have caught her eye a little bit, which is really unfortunate because, I mean, I don't know if she would have been interested in the real me. I don't know. She doesn't know the real me, but like she saw a different me that day, a pretend me. And, you know, she giggled and she sort of smiled at me. And at one time she sort of, you know, sort of waved, and I was like, and then I kept thinking to myself, ah, shit, what have I done? And there was a time where I was just I wasn't having a very good day. And I'm very, I don't know if the word is stoic, but I'm very just sort of like, a lot of people say I don't smile a lot, and I guess I don't. But I really never understood that statement, because I sit there and I'm like, so what am I supposed to be walking around with a smile all the time? Like, and yes, people have told me that they don't like my smile. I literally was told to smile by some woman, and then she said, actually, never mind. And some other woman said, that's not very nice, don't be mean. So it's just like, whatever. I don't give a shit. But my mum likes my smile. Anyway, long story short, she got the wrong impression of me. One day she caught me when I was being myself, and I was also just in a really bad mood. And yeah, I come across as this very just sort of like neutral face. Some people think I'm grumpy when I'm not. Sometimes I am just having a bad day, and obviously that reflects in my face. But, you know, I am what I am. I don't really care, right? But she kind of saw who I really was in a way, I guess. Not saying I'm necessarily just mean, just I was very what's the word? No confidence, just keep to myself, very sort of just like not very sociable at all. And she was clearly sociable, and like she obviously doesn't know my name, but she just sort of went like that, like waving to me, and I barely noticed her. I just kind of walked past her because I wasn't in a very good mood. And again, I'm very just sort of, like, even when someone like reaches out to me, if I barely know them, I almost don't know how to react. I'm very like, you know. But when I put on an act, it's like I'm a different person. But real me is very like, what do I do in this situation? Don't get anxious. And so sometimes if I don't respond, or maybe respond in a way that maybe someone was expecting me to respond, they might feel like I'm being rude or just, you know, offensive, when I'm not really trying to be. It's just kind of just how I am. I'm a very I'm still kind of antisocial. What's the word? Well, I'm an introvert, right? I have autism, which most people don't know, and I technically didn't know I had autism back when I was like 17 or 18. So there's also that side of me where my understanding is kind of different, and maybe my social cues are actually a bit different to like most people or average people. So that's sort of, there's a lot of factors, but either way, I felt really bad afterwards, because it took me a while to realize that that was the girl that I sort of seemed interested in, and I just completely sort of blanked her. And I thought, you idiot, why did you do that? And then at some point she saw me again, and you know that she took it personally, because she had like the most pissed off face the next time. She knew it was me, and she just looked at me so coldly, and I was like, damn. I was like, she took that personally. Like, I just didn't really acknowledge her. And yeah, I know, maybe I should have spoke up and said, I'm really sorry, misunderstanding, but I didn't. I just thought, well, it's probably better she knows the real me, because she probably wouldn't like the real me anyway. That's just, again, lack of confidence, insecurities, you know. Tell me if you've heard this one before. It is what it is, right? But it just made me realize that I just want to be myself. I don't like to put on an act, really, and I try to be that when it comes to my my videos and stuff. I got really off topic, but anyway, to go back to streaming, right? Maybe I need to be more confident. I don't know. Don't let what you see in my videos or any of my streams fool you. I'm not as confident as I might seem. I know I'm talking to you like this, but it's easier because I'm not really seeing you guys. You guys are seeing me, but I'm not really seeing you. You know, like I might see a comment in the chat, but I'm not seeing people. I'm not having to actually be in an actual room and like, you know, make a speech in front of a crowd of people that are actually sitting right in front of me. Then we might have problems. To me, I'm just really, what I'm doing is I'm talking to the camera, right? I'm talking to the camera, and so to me, I guess there's that. I don't worry so much. I just kind of start rambling. But anyway, stream. So yeah, my idea was I just wanted to do streaming casually for a while, just because I was getting fed up. I was kind of getting fed up, and like streaming was becoming a chore, and I didn't want that to be, and I didn't want to, like I said, I didn't want to pretend. I didn't want to pretend to care, because it would probably show that I didn't. And I'm like, no, like, I'm not out here trying to be someone I'm not. I'm just out here trying to be myself. If people don't like that, that's fine. You know, it's all right. You know, I'm not offended. I promise. You know, we don't all get along. We just don't. That's just, you know, we'll have like people that we get along with and don't get along with, and you know, people that we like watching and don't. But I thought to myself, okay, I should probably stay casual and just sort of stream every now and again. And I did kind of start that way, but then I sort of changed. I sort of flipped, and I was like, I'm going to actually do the opposite now, and I'm going to try to be consistent. And I'm going to try and stream more often, and try and, like, I thought maybe if I try to work a bit more to actually put a bit more effort into streaming, maybe we'd get somewhere. And what I mean by get somewhere is I still say this to this day, and it's more so for my videos. I still desire to make a small community, and I don't mean like 4 or 5 people. I mean like a good solid 20 people, which seems a lot for me. Like 20 or 30 people consistently coming into my streams to hang out and chat with me about video games and just enjoy the experiences together is all I want. But I'm realizing that even that is really difficult when you are Jay, and when you're on a platform that I guess isn't really very good at discoverability, but also like, are you really doing anything new or adding anything new, or what makes me stand out compared to all the thousands of other people that are streaming? You know, why should people watch me? You know, like they always say like, oh, you know, why would you get people to watch? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm not funny. So you wouldn't watch me from entertainment wise. I'm a bit of a doofus. You know, it's like, well, I don't really know actually. If I don't even know myself, what am I doing, right? Like, what the fuck am I doing? I laugh at me being stupid. I laugh at me being an idiot. But like, yeah, it's just one of those things where I was like, well, I'm such a casual. I'm such a casual, and I tried streaming 3 times like a week, and it was kind of, I felt like it was sort of good in the productive way of, hey, I'm trying to be consistent here, and I thought that might be good in that sort of sense. But it didn't really increase my desire to want to stream. In fact, I think it had the opposite effect. I think it made me want to stream less, ironically. I thought it. I hope that maybe I would just, maybe a little like a spark would come in. I wouldn't care so much about like, hey, someone turns up or not. But then I thought, well, the problem is that is kind of the goal. Boys, you really are just streaming to yourself all the time. If you're not really making any progress, if you've got a goal and you feel like you're not making any progress to your goal, then you think, well, okay, either you got to do something different to make that goal happen, or you might just think, well, maybe that goal's just unachievable, so maybe I should just not do it, right? So that, I'm like, well, okay, but it's like, if things aren't changing, especially in a year, then I must be doing something wrong, right? And I also know it's not as straightforward as you're doing something wrong. There's a lot of factors when it comes to content creation. But either way, I did not feel more motivated to stream. I felt less. And I thought to myself, we're back to it being a chore. The main thing I feel like that was keeping me streaming was the fact that I was streaming a game that I was legitimately interested in, that I wanted to play. The one thing I'm glad I did do is I felt like I was playing more games that I haven't played, like newer games. I chose not to stream Ghost of Yotei because I was a bit too conscious about that. And it was definitely one of those games where I really kind of wanted to play more to myself, but I didn't want to stream. So it was one of those things where it was like, this is a massive shot in the dark, and I had very low expectations, and it was exactly what I expected, which was no one cared. And to be fair, I didn't really market it all that well. I think I tried making a video out of, basically what I did like a one-off stream. And that's something I want to talk about actually as well. I did like a one-off stream, and I thought to myself, if for whatever reason this one-off stream gets some attention and some people are like, are you going to continue it? I might consider continue it. But it didn't go anywhere. I wasn't expecting it to. And look, I think the video didn't really go anywhere either. So I was just kind of like, well, that's all right. That's fine. It's kind of variety anyway, so it's, in a way it's kind of hard to grow and that sort of thing. I'm like, that's fine. And I thought to myself, well, I probably doomed myself anyway, really, in that sort of sense. But it just means I get to play the game myself. And I kept thinking, man, I kind of want to just do that more. I did like not stream, just play games myself in my own time. The times where I would stream, I just wouldn't. I'd play that game and I just wouldn't. Like that would be my, I'd play this game for like an hour or two. That is like my free time. That is my slot, and then I go to bed. And just don't stream. It just, I guess, streaming was like a way for me to be somewhat productive in my current situation where I feel like I'm not productive for life reasons that I will not get into. Some people know, right? And I don't want to keep like bringing it up and talking about it. It's personal, but yeah. I'm thinking, well, okay, streaming is becoming a problem. I want to play Digimon, but I don't want to stream it. But I've already started this, you know, and don't get me wrong, I could just stop. There are so many channels that actually like do like 2 or 3 videos on a video game, and then they just opt out. They just stop. And mostly from what I've seen from channels, they tend to stop because they just not performing like other videos are, and it's their job. So that's a little bit different. This isn't my job. This is a hobby. So they're like, well, not enough people are responding, so I'm just going to keep uploading what works at the end of the day, which is fair enough. And they might just play that game in their own time, right? Or for whatever reason, you know, they might stop it, you know, or whatnot. Or maybe they're just not interested in the game themselves, so they just stop. But I kept thinking, well, okay, I don't want streaming to be the reason why I lose interest in a game or something. But yeah, Digimon was probably the longest. Was it the longest this year? I'm trying to remember what else I've streamed. Did I stream Shinobi? I forget. Maybe? Did I? I don't remember. Maybe I did. Was Sonic Heroes this year? I think it was. Yeah. I think Sonic Heroes and like Digimon was like the 2 long ones. I think it was this year. So I can't remember. Like this year's been a fucking blur, dude. Anyway. With that said, things just haven't really been working out in the streaming sense, at least this year. Being consistent did not help. Being consistent made me less motivated to stream. So that's what I'm going to do. Going into 2026, I might, probably not, but I might, go down from 3 to 2 streams a week. But I ultimately want to go back to just once. Even then, so I might not even be once. It might just be whenever I feel like it. Now, some streams I might just do in general. Like some things I might just want to do for myself. Like I actually kind of like reacting to some of these gaming events like State of Plays and Nintendo Directs and stuff. Maybe Directs aren't the best because I'm not like the biggest Nintendo guy. I haven't played a lot of Nintendo stuff, so my reactions to a lot of Nintendo related stuff is just kind of like a lot of the time it just kind of boils down to Zelda. If there's a new Zelda game, I might get hyped about it, but if it's like Mario, I'm probably just like the platformer guy, not that big on Mario. Yeah, I'm a Sony platformer guy. I'm a Sonic fan. I don't know what to tell you, but anyway, you know, it's like some of those stuff I don't mind, right? More so for myself. A bonus if people actually give a shit. And like whenever Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 comes out, I'll stream that. Unless I was gonna say something, but I won't. I'll just say I don't know when this game's gonna come out, and I don't know where I will be when that happens. You just don't know, right? I don't want to. Again, I went a very grim thought in my head, and I was like, no, don't think like that, because like. But I'm just saying, you don't know, right? You just don't know. Who knows? I could be rich in 2027 or 8 or something. I don't know. I doubt it, but I'm just saying, right? Life can be unpredictable. You're not 100% sure where you're gonna go, and where things are gonna take you, but you can be sure of when things stay the same. When your situation doesn't change, you're like, well, yeah, things stay the same, and then they start to become very sort of common, where you're just like, hey, look, it's the same shit, different day. Every day is the same. And that gets really, unless you're enjoying yourself, of course, but if you're not, then that gets very demoralizing. Just kind of gets you down, right? If they're not, if those days just aren't good, then it really just kind of eats away at you. It gnaws at you, and it gnaws at your mental health. And those negative thoughts start coming in. But yeah, basically, I experimented a little bit with streaming this year. And although I got very frustrated towards the end part of Sonic Heroes, I am still glad I did it. Kind of. Man, no, I am. I was definitely angry at the time in a lot of these streams, but like when I look back at it and I laugh, and I'm like, I know I won't be laughing if I was doing this again. But I'm like, oh, you know what? It was an experience. And I still kind of want to make it a thing where, like, perhaps maybe once a year I will try and go through a Sonic game. Potentially maybe doing everything, right? Or at least most of the things. I did all Emblems Adventure, Sonic Adventure. I did all the Emblems Sonic Adventure 2. I did all Emblems Sonic Heroes. Technically, I'm pretty sure I've already done Shadow at some point with like all A ranks. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'll do that again. I don't know. But bearing that in mind, the next one would probably eventually be Sonic 06. And I'm like, not looking forward to that one. But we'll see. We'll see if we do that. But I kind of want to make it a little bit of a tradition, even for myself. So there's going to be some things that will happen, providing that I'm still streaming whenever Ever 7 Part 3 come out. I will stream it, regardless on whether no one's watching it. I'll stream it for my own self. So things like that will still happen, but I want to go back to streaming once a week, because to be honest, the drive once a week or once every now and again, because the drive is just not there. I want to be as casual as possible. Don't care about the growth. Just if you feel like doing it. There might be impromptu random streams that is just like, oh, I just want to play this and I'll do it. And if someone turns up, yeah. If you don't, that no one does, that's fine. And just care less about it, because I want to put more effort into my main channel and make videos and try to make videos that people, are actually interested about, that I also obviously like making. One of the things I do still want to do, and I don't know when I'm going to do it. And I'll also just say right now, I don't know when I'm going to stream again in 2026 going forward. I don't know. It's probably not going to be right away in January. Maybe I'll take a month off and come back in February. I really don't know. Like I say, it could just be random one-offs, whatever I feel like it. I really, really do not know yet. But one of the things I do want to do, and it's more so just because I did say I was going to do it ages ago and I still haven't done it yet. I do want to do a full stream playthrough of Legend of Legaia. It's probably going to be Legend of Legaia 2 because I don't have the original Legend of Legaia anymore, sadly, but I do have 2. I haven't played 2 in a long time, but I would be fine with trying to go back to 2. It would probably be like almost like a brand new experience because that really has been years since I've played 2, so I barely remember it. So I definitely still want to do that, and I kind of want to. That might even be like my, I don't want to say my swan song last stream, but like, who knows? It might be my long. Depending on how long, it might just be like the big let's play of the year, and then maybe I just won't do anything else. I don't know when that will happen, but I do want to do that at some point in 2026. Like I say, will I return to Sonic? Maybe, but I don't think we'll be doing like a getting all the medals in Sonic 06 right now. If I'm still streaming later on, maybe we'll do that. I don't know. So yeah, I want streams to just go back to just kind of being as casual as ever, because the drive is just not there. And I'm just being real with you. No one's watching the streams. So that obviously is one of those things where it's like, unless you don't care about that, which fair enough, right? I try not to care about that much, but it's just kind of like, well, if I want to create a community, then you kind of have to care a bit, right? So if it's just not working, then I'm more than happy to just put my hands up and be like, fair enough. You know, we tried. I don't want to keep doing this forever. I've been making content for a long time. You know, if I'm not feeling it anymore and I'm not getting anywhere, I don't want to like keep trying to like start again and make new channels and hope that the next one's going to be it. Like, no, I don't want YouTube and streaming to be my life at the end of the day, right? So none of that. So we're gonna go back to a more, you know, more sort of, you know, less streams for myself. Sort of do it more or less when I feel like it. So you probably won't really know when I stream, and like I say, unless I can be consistent with once a week. But we'll see. But that's where my head's at going in 2026 in terms of streaming. Anyway, is there anything else? I don't know if it really matters, but I sort of experiment a little bit with some like stream short highlight stuff. I might continue to do that. I might not. I don't know. I did like one on Digimon and it flopped, and I did another one and it did okay. I don't know. Shorts are weird. Whatever. So that's more or less it in terms of streaming. I'm sorry that I'm kind of rambling. Like, how long have we've been going for? Like 40 minutes. Okay. All right. I'm very bad at this. So this isn't really related to streaming, but this is just content in general, and kind of like, again, my like just me being on the internet and such, really, going forward. So for those of you who don't know, my main channel, right, the channel that I'm always like unsure what to call it, right, has this sort of like, I have this like this theme, this sort of gimmick with the channel, where I wanted to make videos, right, where I tried to persuade you to play that game. Like, you can give me a game like I don't know, Donkey Kong Bonanza. This just randomly came to my head. And I'll make a video, and I will try my best, right, to tell you why DK Bonanza is like the best fucking game you ever played. And this can be legitimate facts. This could just be like great gameplay, fantastic music, charming story, whatever. But then it could just be like saying something like, I don't know, like return to monkey, like make some sort of monkey meme or be like, hey, would you ever want to be a monkey and just like smash shit, and then just me in a stupid monkey costume. Like, it could be any sort of stupid shit where like this might not even be necessarily actually related to the game, but I'm trying to make it related to the game. But whatever it is, I try to have fun with it, where I'm like, I'm just trying to make silly fun gaming videos where I'm like, hey man, You should totally play Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, because it is the new hottest kart racer. It's not now, but you know what I mean, like, or whatever. And I might put on a silly voice every now and again, you know. Disney Pixar presents Frozen Free. But you know, it's just something I want to have fun with, and I'm like, and I sort of experimented a little bit, and I kind of found that if I could make it work, there is an audience. You know, so I've actually had a couple of people, this is like a while back, but in the past, saying that they kind of find the idea interesting, where I'm like, hey, yeah, like really, basically, I just kind of like trying to shine on gaming. There's a lot of YouTubers that are very, and I hate to say it, but they're very angry video game nerd-esque, where they're all just like trying to like hate on video games. And it's like, I could add to that, but I don't really want to. You know, 'cause I want to talk about why video games are great and why I love video games and share my passion. The sad part is that we, as a society, like the entire planet is like this. We as human beings are sadly drawn to negativity. We're not really drawn to positivity. People will say they want to be positive, but the sad part is, for whatever reason, the way we are built, we are drawn to negativity. We just are. Why is the news always so negative? Because no one gives a shit about how little Timmy saved a cat from a tree. You know? No, and he became the local hero. No one cares about little Timmy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if your name is Timmy. but you know what I mean? Like that's just how it is. But when I say negative, this can be obviously like a lot of stuff to be like, can you believe that this building burnt down and there were casualties and it was really bad? Shock horror. But it is still classed as doom and gloom. You know, as President Shinra in 7 Remake says, spare us the doom and gloom. Like, people will say they don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to hear this. I'm depressed now. That's why a lot of people are like, I ain't watching the news. It's always fucking depressed. Again, the problem is, the reason why the news is the way it is because that sort of negativity, that sort of that shock, you know, that, oh no, something bad's happened, gets people's attention. It's hooks. It hooks you in. I hate those sort of hooks, but we are drawn to it. We just are, you know. That's why you don't always not hear good stuff. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of reason why the news is usually, you know, not good, because it, you know, let's be honest, we're drawn to it, right? We're drawn to drama. We're drawn to, you know, bad things going on and such, right? The state of the world, like, oh, you know, you don't want to hear about what's going on now. Oh, there's some drama going on here with this celebrity or some shit, or the president or whatever, you know, like, whether people like it or not, they're headliners, they're hooks. And I feel like there's definitely going to be people in content creation that knows this, and they emphasize on that, where they're like, you know, this could be anything from, I'm going to tell you why said popular game is actually shit, and that'll get a ton of views. Okay, sure. Will they get a ton of, like, let's say negative, like, negative press or whatever, right? Negative attention or whatever, or publicity. But as they say, is there really such a thing as bad publicity? Publicity is publicity. You get more eyes on what you want people to get more eyes on. You've done the job, whether it be, unfortunately, clickbait, or, you know, underhandedly, or just being negative or controversial. These things they bring people in. They just do. And do you know how I know this? Because I experimented this year. Like this channel, I experimented with the various different stuff. And do you know what most of the videos that did well were quote unquote negative, or at least, controversial or such. One of my most viewed videos is I think it's like the worst, in my opinion, what I consider to be my personal, not like these are definitely fact, like some people seem to think because it's the internet. Man, this is the worst Crash Bandicoot level. I didn't like the best, but these are the worst Crash Bandicoot levels. And that definitely got way more attention I was expecting, but it was very sort of like, obviously, like there was very mixed comments, and I'm just gonna say right now, I doubt any of you are watching, but if you are, hi, yes, I see you. I look at all the comments. Some of those comments were like, you think it's bad because the level is hard, skill issue, not realizing that difficulty can be a valid criticism, actually, for the person, right? Because it's like, if something is too hard for that person, then they're less likely to play it, right? And at the end of the day, developers should strive their best to try and find a balance of trying to get more, as much players as possible to play their game. If you have difficulty options, that's one way. But I was mentioning how like some levels I felt like were too hard, in my opinion, and this is coming from someone who tends to like a challenge, but I didn't think, I felt like there were some levels that like were kind of unfair, and that's why I didn't like these levels, didn't think they were very good. And some people were like, yeah, I have like balls of steel, you can kick me in the balls and it won't hurt me, skill issue, yeah, I love being smacked around by shit I can't see and all this, right, skill issue, yeah, just get good. That's basically what a lot of these comments were. Like, they were like getting upset because I basically said that their favorite level that happens to be, in my opinion, a very a difficult level that I consider to be unfair, as not like one of the worst of them. They're like, it's one of the best levels. What the fuck you want? You want like fucking shit? And I'm like, all right. Again, I was not expecting that much attention. Was I expecting the video to do well over time? Yes, actually, I was, and I was right. But it definitely picked up a lot quicker than I thought. And then I was like, all right. So yeah, so there was some good stuff, there was some bad stuff, but at the end of the day, all eyes on that video. And I think it's already exceeded my most viewed video, which was the Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled video, which I still look back at it and think that video isn't very good. But I think it was just a situation where I uploaded the video where Crash Team Racing was kind of like, I guess it was trending and like a lot of people were talking about it, and I just I got lucky for uploading a type of video that caught interest at a time where it was also trending, and it just seemed like a good time. It's like, oh, you just happened to upload a video at the right time, where people are talking about it, and it just got a lot of views. The retention, like the watch time of that video is trash. Like, people were clicking on it, but they weren't watching it. So as soon as they start the video, they're like, I know who the fuck this guy is, I'm out. Whatever reason, whether it me, they heard my voice and thought I sounded shit, whether they thought visually it looked bad, audio sounded bad, whatever reason, people clicked on it. So they initially had interest to click on it, right? So they're like, oh, Crash Team Racing video. But then, I don't know, the video just wasn't what they expected, and they left. For whatever reason. But, anyway. Yeah, so I experimented, right? One of them being like, I might do like top 10 worst or worst Crash Bandicoot, whatever. And, shocker, the worst Crash Bandicoot video did better than the best Crash Bandicoot video. We are drawn to negativity. We are drawn to controversy. We are drawn to like hate. and all this and that. We just are, you know. Especially, like I say, especially if you shit on something that's popular, right? You have a controversial opinion. I actually think this is actually good, but everybody hates it. Or I actually think this is actually bad, but everybody hates it. Like, let me give you an example. If I were to start talking about the ever so popular Expedition 33, and I just, no reason whatsoever, I just made a video about how like, I'm gonna say this video is shit, and I'm gonna try and find my way to worm myself in trying to make people believe that this game is shit. I would get a lot of attention, but it would just be a lot of like hate towards me and probably a lot of rude comments. I wouldn't do that, of course, but I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of talk about that game since it came out, since the Game Awards, because it won Game of the Year this year. And there's been a lot of drama on social media in regards to it. You know, people defending it, people saying it's not that great. You know, people having the whole like play other RPGs, and there's all sorts of stuff going on that every now and again, if I do go on Twitter, I keep seeing this keep coming on, and I'm like I don't want nothing to do with this. I haven't played the game, so I've got no opinion. But I'm just saying, I'm like yeah, you know, if I wanted to jump on the hate train, it'd get views, but I'm not out here just trying to get views and get any sort of attention. But my point is that negativity works more than positivity. When I start talking about something good, I feel like it is difficult, at least for me, when making a video about a game. It seems to be difficult to get that attention on a like, hey, let me tell you how great this game is. Not as many eyes on it, as opposed to, let me tell you how shit this game is. I remember when I made videos where my whole idea was experimenting with a kind of sort of sarcastic-y joke sort of way of pretending that a game is actually shit when it's not. And it was called the You Suck series that I experimented with, which I probably won't go back to. Because again, that's not really what I want to do. And again, it's getting the type of attention I was expecting, but don't want. So again, I don't want to keep confusing people. And at the end of the day, I got to experiment for myself. But obviously, the more I experiment, if these videos do get attention every now and again, it gets the wrong idea, because people will see these videos and they'll be like, you hate Sonic the Hedgehog 2? But they ignore the video that I made like 2 years ago about why Sonic 2 is one of the best video games ever made. And that's how you know that they're a new viewer, because they don't know that and they didn't think to check the channel and have a look. But also, they weren't really picking up that I was actually just kind of messing around and joking, and like, it was supposed to be like a fake hate. So like, I'm gonna tell you why this sucks, but it actually kind of doesn't. And I really tried to make my voice sound stupid on purpose, because I thought, well, I got to make it sound like I'm not being serious, and I thought I were. But some people were picking up that I weren't being serious, for the most part. Like, I get it. Like, some of the things I was saying you could see as valid criticism, but I was making them seem worse than they actually are. You know, I was making it seem like, I don't know, Sonic 2 fucking, you know, pissed in my Cheerios or some shit and stole my girlfriend and stole my job. It's not the case, but I was making it seem like it was. For the laughs, for the jokes. Some people picked up on it and liked it and thought it was funny. Some people really didn't get it and thought I was being serious, and I got a lot like, what? Some people, and I'm not even just saying Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I did other videos. Some people in other videos were like, yo, I totally agree. And I just sort of sat there and I was like, man, this experiment is interesting, because I've gotten a lot of different perspectives from different people. All seeing the video completely differently. And I'm like, this is interesting. And then some people saying, you need to make it more clear that you're joking. And then other people are being like, I don't know what to tell you. I knew he was joking. Who's right, who's wrong? I don't know. But again, this was one of my experiments. And this was kind of quote unquote, considered negative, because I was talking about games in a negative way, but it was very jokey and not serious, right? One of the things I did was was it Mario Wonder. And although some of my thoughts were actually kind of legitimate, again, I was maybe that wasn't the best video that I you know, maybe I didn't put myself across very well in that video. Again, I was making it seem like Mario Wonder fucking stole all my video games and made me homeless when it actually didn't. You know, I was trying to make it seem worse than what it actually was. Even if some of my stuff were actually criticisms that I were like, yeah, I don't know, I didn't like this, or I wasn't whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I was very like, God, this game is fucking boring. God, why does it do this? I really wish it wouldn't. Sonic's better. You know. But people were very like, God, you're just hating Mario for the sake of hating Mario. And I'm like, I mean, I kind of am. You're not wrong. I'm hating. It's supposed to be a joke. But I wanted to see what would happen. Because I could easily just make a video and be like, oh yeah, Mario Wonder's great. Said the thousands of other Nintendo channels out there who do Mario content that are like, yeah, Mario Wonder's great. You all know, like, let's say most Mario fans will probably say Mario Wonder is great. From what I've seen, it's got good reception, right? Most Mario fans will probably say most Mario games are great. So, for someone to just be like, hey, did you know that Mario Odyssey is really good? Or Super Mario Galaxy is one of the best Mario games ever made? Mario fans will probably say, well, no fucking shit. We know this. But why would you watch that, right? If I were to make a video and be like, oh yeah, Super Mario Galaxy is great, let me tell you why. Nintendo fans would be like, so some people are like, yeah, it is great, isn't it? But then there'll be a bunch of people that I assume will be like, well, yeah, I already know that. Why would I need to watch a video to tell me what I already know? Now, of course, I don't know this for sure as to why people don't watch that type of stuff. But I have thought about that, where I'm like, let me tell you why this Sonic game is amazing. And, like, most people in the fandom probably agree that it's amazing. They already know it's amazing. And I do think, well, maybe that's partly why people don't want to watch a video about someone telling them what they already know. I don't know. But then you also have reviews, right? And I know reviews are a bit... reviews are supposed to be... You're supposed to kind of cover everything in the sense that you can be mostly positive about something if you really think it deserves to be positive, right? But the whole idea of my videos, at least I hope, that's what I've been desperately trying to get across, is they're not really reviews. I've done reviews in the past, but they're not. I'm not trying to make them like reviews. And maybe that's what I'm struggling to do, because some people I think still think they're reviews, and I'm like, that's not really... I hear you, but they're not supposed to be reviews, because if I sit there and tell you why Bubsy 3D is the greatest video game of all time, you're probably not going to take me seriously. Is that really a review? No. But if I were to say how, like, you know, it's not a great game, but you know what, I think this part of the game is actually not too bad, or something like that. You know, if I'm given like opinion, like you know, like, hey, this part is good, this part is not so good, I really like this part, you know, you know, this part of the story is really strong, the music's pretty good, you know, there's some memorable tracks here, right? That's a review, right? You know, the game's a little bit difficult, so if you're not someone who really likes difficult games, then this might not be for you. That's a review. But if I'm just mostly being like, this game's fucking amazing, and I'm going to tell you why it's fucking amazing, and only tell you why it's fucking amazing, is that really a review? I'm just trying to tell you why this game is amazing so you play it. And I want to do that for every video. But I also would not mind doing that for underrated games. You know, games that perhaps don't get enough attention. Someone said this to me before. And they said, your video idea sounds kind of cool. That could be a neat idea to do that sort of video format on like underrated games I don't really talk about, like shed some light and be like kind of like a spotlight, like here's this underrated game, here's this game you probably haven't even heard of that's actually really good, and I'm going to tell you why it's really good. But I also, like I said, will do a video as to why Bubsy 3D is the best video game of all time, and you probably won't believe me, but dang it, I will try. Why? Because I thought it would be funny. I don't know. I don't believe it myself, but I'd do it if I knew people actually wanted to watch a video like that. I'd do it because it'd be fun. But it would also be interesting to challenge myself and be like, can I actually find anything good about something that's notoriously bad? Can I find the reason to like Sonic 06? Can I find the reason to like Crash of the Titans or something? I don't know. You know, can I find a reason to like games I usually don't like or something like that? Because I thought it might make an interesting video. But the sad part is for as long, like I've had this channel for several years now, I've been trying to make it work, and I haven't. And I've really thought to myself, well, again, if I can't achieve my goal, which is to build a small community, then it's just sort of like, well, what am I doing? If I can't make it work, it might be best just to bow out, you know? As I always say, keep going until I'm bored, till I'm fed up of it. I don't want YouTube, I don't want streaming to be my entire life, because it's just a hobby, you know. I want to focus on sorting my actual life out, because I'm not happy in my current life, and I need to really take care of my mental health and my physical health. I really need to make some significant changes in my life. YouTube is a hobby, and it should stay like that for me anyway. You know, if somehow one day some video just blew up and I sat down and I'd be like, why the fuck did this terrible video blow up, and then suddenly I've got like fucking tens of thousands of subscribers, I don't know. But as long, I can't see that happening, but I'm just saying, like, 1 in a million chance that happened for whatever reason. Who knows? Everything could be flipped on its head. But at the end of the day, I started this as a hobby back when no one could even earn money on YouTube. That's how long I've been on this platform, by the way, since the beginning. And it always was supposed to just be kind of like really a fun hobby amongst friends, but things change, right? Things change, and although it is still a hobby, it's not me and friends. It's just me now. And we're older, right? And we're all trying to get on with our lives and do our own thing and stuff, right? But yeah, at the end of the day, if you're making videos, whether it be on YouTube or TikTok, Instagram, you know, wherever, obviously the idea is that you want them to get views. Otherwise, why did you make the video in the first place, you know? You know, that should go without saying, right? That makes sense. Of course it does. Sure. Still with me? Yeah, so, okay. So I've been experimenting with my channel, as I said. I've been doing some negative stuff. I've also just been doing, like, list videos. I've been doing, like, the tier list videos, right? Like, here's a list of, like, what I consider to be like the best, like the here's the A rank Sonic games or whatever, here's the F tier Sonic, whatever, you know. I've also done like top 10, and those stuff have done well. I've realized that I guess these seem to be quite popular with people, with gaming audiences. They seem to like tier lists seem to be, even to this day, somewhat of a long lasting trend where like they seem to always get attention and views. Which is cool. I don't mind doing them every now and again, but again, I don't want my channel to just be, here's a tier list. I don't want my channel to be known for that. And that's kind of part of the issue as well with all the experimenting that I've been doing this year, is, again, giving the audience the wrong idea. I don't want people to see like my 5 or 6 videos of why these video games sucks and then think that's my entire channel. Because they very well might, and I can't blame them for it if that's how they found my channel, and then they see another video right afterwards and they're like, oh, they made another one, and they don't think to check the channel to see the other videos beforehand. They might just think that's just what I do. Or if you see that I've done retrospectives of, say, for example, I did the Crash Bandicoot retrospectives, then you might just think that I'm just a channel that does retrospectives. And I can't blame you for that, because that's what I kind of, like, if that's how you discovered my channel, then you might just think that's what I do. Or you might just see my channel and I'm like, oh, he's doing all sorts of different videos, kind of variety. Not really what I'm trying to do, but you know what I mean. Like, I knew this was going to be an issue, but I was mostly experimenting just to kind of see what does work, at least for me, because it's just handy to know, while I still try to figure out how to make the actual video that I want to make work, which again is the why video games. I just want to, like I say, make fun videos about why you should play this game, and try my best in any way, shape or form, whether it be actually true or not, or just silliness, and just have fun with it. You know, and spread some love and joy when it comes to gaming, instead of negativity all the time. Why I hate this, you know, why this sucks or whatever. And it's like, yeah, this gets attention, but this is negative attention. I don't want that. I just want to talk about why gaming is great. You know, game is supposed to be fun after all. You know, sure, there are things to not like, and you know, nothing's perfect, but but there's also billions of review channels out there, and I just don't want to be another review channel. You know, I at the moment I enjoy making the type of video where I'm like, yeah, like, let me tell you why this, blah, 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 blah. Sadly, I've not been able to make it work in all the years, and that's why I experimented this year, trying different things, editing, presentation, audio, and just different types of videos. And like I said, I've learned as to what videos have been doing well on the channel, what haven't. And like I said, I still have not managed to figure out how to make the actual video. Like, I want people to come to my channel and be like, oh, that's that guy who's like making kind of like somewhat humorous videos on why you should play said video game. Like, can you believe he made a video in frickin' Bubsy 3D and somehow managed to make it sound like somewhat believable that it's a good game? Crazy. Like, I'd love that. You know, even if it was just a small handful of people and they're like, oh, you know, I like the gimmick. You know, dude, if I could get to a point where I could talk about an underrated game or series and try to shove some general light on it, you know, also putting my silly flair onto it, and you know, and also maybe making some exaggerations about some stuff. But either way, like, if I could get some attention on an underrated game, which might make people go, oh, I never knew about this game, oh, you know, I'm gonna check this out, then I'll be like, hell yeah. Like, hell yeah, that's the goal. I want people to play video games. When I made that Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled video, there was a couple of comments that really stood out for me. And there both was, thank you, I wasn't 100% sure about whether I should get this game, but after I watched this video, you convinced me. And these were both very similar comments. And I was like, that's kind of what I want. You know, I also just want people that obviously have fun with the videos. I want, you know, if I can get someone to just smile or even laugh a little bit because I did something stupid or something in the video made you laugh, then great. If I did that, great. If I also, if you know, if you're also unsure about playing said video game, or something you never heard of or whatever, and you see a video of mine and you're like, oh, you know, and you watch it and you're like, you know what? I might go check out that video game now. That's ultimately what I want to do. I'm not there yet. And I'm starting to think I might never be. So ultimately, here's where things lie in 2026 in terms of the main channel. I am going to do, and I say this in quotations because never say never, because things can change, but I'm going to put it out there. This is a last ditch effort to make my main channel work, where I do try to consistently make these sort of why video game video, you know, like, whatever it might be, you know, and make them work, and, you know, and actually get significantly decent growth from them, and actually get responses and comments and likes and stuff, in 2026. If I cannot get significant growth out of those videos by the end of the year, and I'm not saying this lightly, it might be time to quit YouTube. And I mean that. I've been doing this for a very, very long time, probably longer than most people would. You also have to understand my first channel was the Gamebusters UK, which is still what this Twitch is, and I kept that frickin' ship. I kept that channel alive for over 10 years. When everybody else left that sunken ship, I stayed on it. I stayed on it, and I only kind of left after it hit rock bottom, and I somehow escaped the ship, swam back up to sea. Someone rescued me, and then I thought, you know what would be a fucking good idea? I'm gonna jump to another ship and try again. And here we are. And I don't know if I'd say this ship is sinking quite yet, but it's kind of, it's hovering, and it's like, I kind of feel like this is the make or break year, where it's like, I don't know if I got it in me to just kind of shove videos out and it to not get the desired sort of views that I'm happy with. I've said this before, I'm not out here trying to become the next 1 million subscriber YouTuber or whatever. I'm not. But if I can't even build a small community, which is what I would personally like to do, you know, I don't want to spend like another 10 years and then like 10 years later I get 1,000 subscribers, and it's just like, but like, it doesn't really matter because it took me 10 years and most of the subscribers aren't even watching me anymore. So it's not really that you've got 1,000 subscribers. And I don't really know if subscribers really matter as much these days, really. To me, I'm looking at like the views and like people actually watching the video, the retention. You know, subscribers just kind of feel like a benchmark where it's like, oh, you got 1,000 subscribers. That's cool. It only took you 10 years. So it kind of feels like only like 50 people are watching you, but never mind. You know, and like when you reach a certain benchmark, at least on YouTube, right, that can potentially actually give you opportunities. I've heard of people that have got 10,000 subscribers, which people would still consider to be small, but have still gotten like actual like opportunities, like even been given potential, like, you know, like early access to games from big companies at 10,000 subscribers, sometimes even being invited to events with 10,000, and it's like, that's amazing, you know. But 10,000 seems like a lot to me. I know it's not like 100,000 or 1,000,000, but like, if that happens to you and you get that opportunity, if that's what you want, and that works out for you, that's cool, that's great. So subscribers are just kind of like benchmarks, but I'm not really too fussed about that anymore. I'm more so just like, I'm trying to get these videos to just get views and stuff. And, you know, like I say, if I can get some genuine people sticking around and being like, oh yes, Jay's uploading another video, that'd be great. But if I can't make that, that's true. But I'm at this point where I'm like, look, what's most important to me isn't YouTube, it's my life. And I want to make significant changes in my life going forward. For my own sanity, my own health. You know, I want to lose weight, for example. I need to sort out my job situation, which is also very difficult because of the situation I'm in. There's lots of things I want to sort out in my life. Make changes to just improve my happiness and not feel so down, and not try to just sort of put on a front and try to be positive for the sake of giving me a reason to actually get up every day, you know, instead of, like I say, negative thoughts creeping in and being like, what the fuck am I doing with myself, man? Maybe I should just curl up and die in a corner. No one would remember me anyway. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to think like that. So I have to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I have to do something. But that's more important. I need to sort myself out. YouTube content creation is just a hobby. You know, if I can't make my goals work, then I think for myself, it would probably be better if I just stepped back. Now, if I do quit YouTube by the end of 2026, what's going to happen with like streaming and stuff? I don't know. Maybe we will still stream certain things. But like making videos will potentially not be a thing. Or I don't know. I'm not saying I'm 100% going to quit. That's not what I'm saying. But I am putting it out there where I feel like maybe I should, right? I'm putting it out there for myself to be like, I don't know, man. Like, you really want to make this work, and you haven't been able to make this work for a long time. So it's just kind of like, do I have it in me to keep going? If you're not really going anywhere, if you're not moving forward, right? If you're not moving forward in your goals, then it's just kind of like, then what are you doing? You know, it's like, let me just keep trying the same thing over and over again. The definition of insanity. I'm sure I'll get a different result, except I don't. So it's just kind of like, well, it's kind of pointless. So like, what am I doing? Am I just uploading for the sake of uploading, or what? Am I learning anything all these years of doing YouTube? Apparently not. I don't know. YouTube is hard, okay? Content creation is difficult. It's hard. YouTube is constantly changing. People are changing. Their interests are changing. It's hard. At the end of the day, this is what I want. I want people to come to my channel and realize that my channel really is, for the most part, like, let's say 95% is a platformer channel. 3D platformers, 2D platformers, Sonic, Crash, Rayman, Croc, Spyro, maybe Ratchet and Clank, maybe Mario occasionally. And this is a big give. And if I feel like it, I might throw in some random like PlayStation games that I'm really passionate about. You know what I mean? I might talk about Digimon World because I love Digimon World, even though it's not a platformer. But I want people to realize that I'm not just like getting people, you know, making these sort of why video game, like these, please play this video game. I don't necessarily want it to be like, I'm going to do a video on anything, because then it just kind of becomes variety. Then it means I could do a video on Call of Duty. I wouldn't, but you know what I'm saying. Or I could make a video on Grand Theft Auto. I wouldn't, but you know what I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, the one thing I keep hearing all the time is variety just doesn't work. And you're probably better off niching down. And I'm like, well, I don't want to just do Crash Bandicoot. The Crash Bandicoot videos do really well, and I appreciate it. But the problem is, if you come to my channel and you think I'm just like the guy who just does Crash Bandicoot, you're going to be disappointed, because that's not what I want to be known for. I don't want to be known for as the Crash guy. I want to be known for as like kind of like the platformer guy, even though I know there are big YouTubers out there that are already covering platformers. I absolutely know. But obviously they might be doing reviews or other things with platformers. I'm obviously doing like the, please play this amazing platformer. Also, please play this underrated game that might not be a platformer, but I'm just doing it anyway because someone might have requested it or something. But I want, you know, I don't want people to come to my channel and be like, he makes Sonic videos, or he makes videos about why Sonic the Hedgehog sucks. And it's like, well, I did for a bit, but that's also not really, it's a joke video. You know what I mean? It's tough. I was talking about this with, my bud Ryan, where, you know, I said to him, I said, it's tricky because some people can just make a channel only about Minecraft, and you know, Minecraft is honestly kind of a good choice. Maybe not so much now because so many people do it, but like before in the past it was, because there's so much you can do with a game like Minecraft. Like, you know, it's kind of like your infinite creative playground where there's so much you can do. People are still kind of trying to invent all sorts of different ideas with Minecraft and different video ideas and different things they come up with and stuff. Like, and like, you know, I'm not really a Minecraft guy, but it is impressive what people come up with, right? There's so much you can do with a game like that. But there's only so much I can do with a game like Crash Bandicoot or Sonic, because these are single-player games. They're not creative boxes, you know, where you make stuff and whatnot, like Minecraft, for example. But Minecraft can kind of work in that sort of sense, and someone can like make their channel all about Minecraft, because there's like infinite content you can make out of it. And you know, a lot of people have found success with whatever they've done with Minecraft, because of it. But that doesn't necessarily apply to every sort of video game. It really kind of depends, right? Because of the type of videos I make, I could cover the entire Crash Bandicoot series, and then I'm done, and then there's nothing else for me to do. You know what I mean? But again, I also just don't want to be known as like the guy who just does Crash. I want to be the guy who does Crash, Spyro, Sonic, you know, all like Prince of Persia, maybe, you know, like platformers. And that's tough, because just because someone came to my Crash Bandicoot video doesn't mean that they're going to watch my Sonic video. Because obviously that Crash fan came for Crash. That doesn't necessarily mean that they also play Sonic. I totally get that. It's the same for Sonic fans. Just because someone watched the Sonic video, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go and watch the Crash Bandicoot video. Because maybe, just maybe, the Sonic fans only play Sonic and maybe don't actually play other platformers. And the Crash Bandicoot fans only play Crash Bandicoot and don't play platformers. There is a significant amount of people who do not play Spyro but play Crash. There is a significant amount of people who play Spyro that don't play Crash. Crash and Spyro have a very interesting relationship. They've always been sort of intertwined in some way. But you'd be surprised how many more, I feel like, play Crash. And it's probably... Crash is probably a bit more popular than Spyro, and less for Spyro. So again, just because someone plays one platformer game, I also understand that it doesn't necessarily mean they play others. And I've learned this the hard way. I've learned this when videos just underperform. I'll do a video on Crash, but then I'll throw in Klonoa. You know, it's sort of a niche platformer, but if you know it, you know it. Is it Capcom? No, Capcom wasn't Klonoa. Who made Klonoa? I forget. Oh, no, it was... No, Bandai, right? Because of Pac-Man, I think. I forget. But anyway, you know, I do a video on, say, Klonoa, and it flops. And I can only assume, you know, maybe one, I just didn't make a very good video. Two... that, you know, maybe the people who watched the last video again were just like, say, Sonic fans or Crash fans, and they're not interested in Klonoa, or maybe they've never played Klonoa, maybe they haven't played that many platformers, they've only played Crash, and it's tough. That's not to say that there isn't an audience for what I'm trying to do, because I know there is. I talked to my buddy Ryan and I said there's one channel, and I know that they're obviously a way bigger channel than me, and they've been doing this for probably as long as I have, since more or less the beginning of YouTube. So they've built up their audience, but most of their stuff is either horror or platformers. So what I'm saying is that their viewers don't just watch them because they talk about Rayman. Rayman might do really, really well, but they also will watch their other 3D platform. They might watch their Psychonauts video, for example, and that gets a ton of views. So that says to me that that person has gained viewers who play a bunch of platformers, not just Crash, not just Spyro. And that's the struggle. That's where I would rather be. I want people to come to my channel and be like, I play a bunch of platformers, not just I only play Sonic. That's not to say that Sonic fans can't watch my Sonic videos if all they watch is Sonic. Of course not. You know, anyone can watch those videos. But obviously, because of what I'm trying to set out for this channel, it is tough. It's difficult when it does kind of feel like you're mostly getting fans for that one game or series, not the genre. You know, I want platformer fans who play a variety of platformers, not just the Sonic fans, because then that means they won't care about Crash. They won't care about Ratchet and Clank. That's another thing. Ratchet and Clank video flopped. Didn't do very well. But I also know that, you know, maybe I just made a bad video or whatever. But I also know that you could say, well, maybe people don't care about Ratchet and Clank. No, it might just mean that my video just did not reach the Ratchet and Clank fans, because I know there's a literal channel who's pretty much built their entire channel on Ratchet and Clank, and it's got like 400, 500k subscribers. I believe they're called the Golden Bolt. Don't know if anyone's watching has ever heard them, but and like, yeah, you could sit there and say, well, they're just a better channel than me. They make better videos than me. That's fine. I can accept that. I'm not out here saying I make godlike videos, because if I did, I feel like it would show in the views, and they clearly don't. So I know that. I'm still kind of like, in a way, trying to find my nice style that works and stick to it. I'm still figuring stuff out after all these years. I'm still trying to learn and still trying to improve, and that's fine. But either way, their type of videos that they make, people enjoy them. But what I'm saying is that their topic really is still just like, their base is just the Ratchet and Clank series, and they make like various different types of videos where it'd be like reviews, discussions, and talks about various things within the Ratchet and Clank series. They make it work, and they've managed to make it work. So clearly, there is an audience, right, for Ratchet and Clank, because they've literally built their entire audience for it, and it's massive. So clearly there's a lot of alike for Ratchet and Clank, but there wasn't a lot of like for my Ratchet and Clank video personally. Again, it could be a lot of factors. Could just be a shit video. Could just be, unfortunately, it just didn't get a very good response, or the algorithm couldn't quite find the right audience. So then when it did put it in front of people, they just didn't care, and that made the algorithm go, well, people don't care, so I'm not going to push it. Whatever the reason might be, it could be that my current, like I say, the current people that were watching my stuff just wasn't interested in Ratchet and Clank. It didn't work. But my point is that that's another struggle with this channel, is that I want this to really primarily be a platformer channel, and I'm struggling. I'm at this point where it's either Crash or Sonic that works. The only exception to the rule is sometimes the Croc videos do alright. I appreciate that. You know, Croc, I always have a soft spot for Croc. I have a soft spot for Croc, and you know, it's always nice if it gets even just 200 views. If it gets 500 or 1,000, I'm like, whoa, yeah, that's cool. Yay, that's nice. Is it just the Croc fans? I don't know, but that's nice to see. That's like an exception to the rule, though. Right? If I do a video on Pac-Man World, no one's gonna give a shit. And that's another thing I'm probably gonna experiment with is. We got the new Pac-Man World Repack 2, and I've been debating on whether making a video on it at all. I want to, because again, I want the channel to be known for platformers, not just one. I don't want to just be the Sonic channel. There's billions of Sonic channels. I don't just want to talk about Sonic. I like Sonic, but I also like other platformer games. Obviously, I play other games as well, but you know what I mean? I would rather make a channel, and plus I don't want to limit my creativity. If I just talk about Sonic, I'll get fed up. If I talk about Crash Bandicoot, I'll get fed up. I'm just being honest. But if I talk about a bunch of different platformers, oh dude, the sky's the limit for me. You know? If I can't make it work by the end of 2026, depending on how I feel, I may just throw in the towel once and for all. Stop being a creator and become a viewer. And that might just be the best decision I've ever made. Who knows? Or, you know, maybe I'll do that, and depending on what life throws at me, I'll be back in like 2 or 3 years and I'll start a new channel. Who fucking knows? But I'm setting that goal out for me that I don't 100% know what significant growth is to me. But I'll tell you right now, I'm about 700 plus subscribers on my main channel. I would like to at least get to 1,000 by the end of the year, at least. I don't want it to take a year to get to 1,000, but that would basically mean I need 300 subscribers. But that's just like, that's just kind of a small benchmark where it's kind of like, I might get to 1,000 subscribers, but if my views are only getting like 20 views, that doesn't really reflect it. But that's just something I've kind of thrown out there where I'm like, it would be nice to reach 1,000 next year at some point. But we'll just have to see. But I'm just putting it out there. Is there anything else I want to say? I've been talking way too long here. This is partly the reason why I didn't want to do this, and why I was going to do a video, because I could probably make it a lot shorter. But I'm just rambling at this point. So, you know, my problem is that clearly I'm bad at making thumbnails, because they are kind of just simple thumbnails, I'll be honest. I'm still kind of, I don't have an artist. I can't afford an artist or anything like that. I'm not like a Photoshop, you know, expert or anything like that. So I don't even have Photoshop. I can't afford it, but like, I'm nothing like that. You know, there's still so much I can like try to learn to try and improve and do better. Absolutely. You know, so still haven't figured everything out after all these years, but you know, that's why I experiment and try different things. And, you know, I'm doing what I can, but if I can't make things work, I can't things make work. That's fine. Sometimes you just got to accept it and move on, you know. You kind of got to know when to quit, I think, when to back out and be like, look, if you ain't got it in you and you just can't make it work, no point beating a dead horse, dude. It's like, might be best to move on to something else, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've been doing this for, like I say, a long time. And most people would quit YouTube in a year if they didn't get the results that they wanted. And I've been doing this for several years, mate. Several. I'm the OG. Still here. Like the fool that I am. Let me have a quick look at my notes here. So talked about the streams and where things are going. Talked about the channel. Yeah, because I really want you to take up less of my life as well, to be honest. I don't want it to be like my focus. That's dangerous. Yeah, focus on my real life, of course. Yeah, okay, I was unsure on whether I wanted to mention this, because I still haven't got like a clear date on where to make this happen. It might just be something I have to, again, make a goal and be like, I'm doing it for sure. Otherwise, I just won't do it. I still, for those of you who don't know, I talked about how I wanted to do like some sort of a podcasty show, because I really, as you probably gather, I really like to talk, at least when it comes to video games. My biggest thing is, though, I didn't just want to just be a random podcast where I just chat about random video games. I'm like, well, what can I do in a podcast? What can I talk about other than just, hey man, I want to talk about why I like video games, or do you want to hear about the latest gaming news? It's like, well, okay, I'm sure there are lots of podcasts that do stuff like that. What can I do differently? And you know, sometimes I might want to talk about various different things and different dramas in rules and that. You know, and I still kind of want to make it like this sort of show talking about various different things and whatnot. And I could keep it to like talking about various different like series games. You know, I could talk about Sonic, I could talk about Crash or whatever. I would like to start it next year, at least to try to attempt to do some sort of a podcast. I don't know what I'm gonna do or where I'm gonna put it. I did thinking about putting it on a Patreon, but then I'm like, but then that means I'm charging and like I don't even have really much of a viewership for that, so I don't know who's gonna be charging that. I'm not sure if you might be able to just put it on Patreon without charging. I don't know. I've been thinking about it. Like I was like, well, if I just put it up for $1, but then I'm like, who's gonna watch it? But either way, I that one of my personal pipe dreams is that I want to try to do some sort of a podcasty type show around games. But it's just making that happen. And in my mind, I'm like, I feel like I keep kind of delaying it. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I might be doing too much, but I would like to try and start something in 2026. I don't know what that looks like yet, but I'm just mentioning it. I'm still thinking about it. The fact that I've been thinking about it for a while now makes me feel like I still definitely want to try it. There's still some drive there where I'm like, I want to try something, but I just, I need like a clear vision on what I want to do with it, right? Topics on hand and stuff. Because no, I don't necessarily want to talk about everything gaming. Gaming news about this game that I don't care about. And I definitely don't want to talk about fucking Final Fantasy VII's fan base and its shipping community. Fucking hell. Definitely not. Jesus. I would ramble about that. God. No. Ooh, I'd mostly just laugh about it and probably shit on the whole thing, but no, not getting involved. No. No. So yeah, it's something to think about, but I also feel like I just kind of need to just take action, whatever that might be, I don't want it to just be random gaming discussions, but I also don't want to overthink it too much. Otherwise, I will never make it happen. So it's just something to think about. I know, like, some people, obviously, like, their whole, like, channel might be around whatever it might be, whether it be, like, horror games or something, or and they might talk about, I might have, like, horror discussions or something like that. Or the state of horror games or whatever, or whatever it might be, something like that. And I could do that with platformers, but it's kind of niche, right? I feel like platformers are kind of niche-ish compared to like potential other genres, and so I don't know how many people would care for that at the current moment. So it's just, like I say, something I do need to think about. But I also just kind of need to take that leap of faith and be like, let's just fucking do it. All right. So I'm sorry for the rambling. If for whatever reason there's someone's watching this, whether you're watching this, probably on the archive, I would say. I'm almost certain. Unless there's any like secret lurkers out there that I don't know of. If there are, hello. Appreciate you. Less streams going into 2026. Which means there'll probably be less playthroughs. Although I like the idea of playing new games live with you guys, I don't think I'll be doing that nearly as often. Some things might still happen. I still want to make Legend of Legaia happen because I said I was going to do it. So, I definitely want to make that happen. But less streams would be better for me. And trust me, it'd be better for you. So I don't have to force myself, and I can actually like play games I want to play in my own time. I'm glad I played Ghosts of Yotei in my own time, because I would have been tied to streams and I would not be happy. And like I say, no one there wasn't like anyone really cared anyway. So to me there was no reason for me to do it. So I'm like, yeah, just keep this game for myself, and I'll just play Digimon or whatever. That's fine. Main channel, if I can't make what I essentially started this channel on, if I can't make what I want to make work by the end of the year, that might very well be the end of my YouTube career once and for all. And that'll be interesting. If I can, great. But we'll see what happens at the end of the year. And yeah, I don't want you to take up my life. Focus on real life. Gotta make things better for myself. Because sometimes it is very hard to put on a face in front of a camera when everything's not okay. You know that meme? You got let's say that meme where it's like you have to tell people that, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's like this is woman was like you have to tell them that you're fine, but you're actually not fine, and it's just like really like sad music because like the woman's going for like an existential crisis, like I'm not okay, but I have to tell them I'm not okay, and that's kind of how I feel, where I'm like I'm kind of just telling people everything's okay when it's not, because you don't really want people to pry, and you don't really want people to be like, oh, I'm sorry, or you know, or whatever, and a lot of people don't want to know anyway. Don't want to get anyway. My point is that I'm hoping for changes in a positive light next year through my streaming, through my main channel, through my life. We'll just have to see what happens. And I wanted to just kind of get this all off of my chest, mostly for myself. But if you are watching this at any point in time, and you did make it to the end somehow, also, I am so sorry. But thank you. I appreciate you. I was going to say if you watch for a bit, that's fine too. But if you watch for a bit, you're probably not even watching it. Skip to the end. All right. I'm going to leave it there. It's actually late enough. So, that's going to be it. There's going to be no more streams. I think I am going to take a break, maybe a few weeks or a month, and I'll come back with something. Like I said, Legaia will happen at some point. Don't know when, but it will. If anything else happens, like a state of play, I'll probably react to that. But other than that, streams going forward are going to be back to just like when I feel like it. It'd be better for me. I feel a bit better about it, or if I do it that way. So, win-win. All right. Thanks for watching. I guess if you celebrate the new year, Happy New Year, whenever you're watching this, because this is obviously pre-2026 when I'm recording this, live streaming this. We're not in 2026 yet, but we will be in a couple of days. And yeah, if things haven't been very good for you either this year, I just want to say you're not alone, man. You're not alone. Hang in there. I hope that things get better for you going forward, because life can be really challenging out there, man. Really challenging. But I hope things get better for you, for all of us. I really do. So